Live. We are live. Live. There we go. Live. Live. We are live. 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 Check. Check one, two. Yep. All right. Cool. Mic's working. Welcome, everyone, to the live stream. Monthly Q&A. ACR Protect. Yo. What's up, dude? As always, oh, you don't got to call me sir. I work for a living. Although, not a great day today. Frickin' I'm waiting for a call back from my service guy. So my truck's in the shop right now. Needs some work done. Two ignition coils went out the other day while I was driving and started misfiring, and that was not a pleasant drive. So got to get that work done. Need brakes done, and I guess my rear axle seal on one side is busted, so that needs replaced as well. So that's really gonna hurt. This economy's killing us. It does suck. Needs to get done though. Um, but yeah, other than that, hope everyone's having a good day. And yeah, as always, people will be coming in, say hey in the chat. As always, I am going to answer the community post questions first, and then I'll just sit here for a couple hours and shoot the breeze with folks. So, yeah, well, let's go for it, huh? Alrighty. First questions are from ACR Protect. You always have good questions, man, so I appreciate them. See here. See if this camera's going to keep acting up. All right, your questions. It is Happy Spooky Month. Yes. You do try, and I appreciate it. They're good questions. Let's see. Favorite MRE meal? Ooh, man. There's a lot of good MRE meals. Both back from like the menus that I ate when I was in and even now. X MRE has some of the best menus nowadays. And they're an outside company, but they do provide to the government as well, apart from like law enforcement and emergency management and stuff. Um, those are really good MREs. I think for my menus back in the day, I actually liked the meatloaf quite a bit. That was good. The cheese tortellini, always cash money. Spaghetti and meatballs tasted like Chef Boyardee. It was fine. Um, Cajun rice. Cajun rice was good. Most of them were good. We did have the vomlet, and obviously that was to be avoided at all costs, but just about everything else was all right. Um, yeah, I liked the meatloaf. New menus like the barbecue beef and stuff is good. Obviously I can't eat a lot of them anymore, unfortunately, but like even the pizza, like the Bridgeford one, the pizza is fine. Like the taco is fine. The only thing that they need to do is keep coffee and bring back the Tabasco for in the MREs. That's what they need to do. Sassy, hey. Gen X Gemini, hey. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Um, you're looking at MREs. So the resale market, the surplus resale market is great right now. Prices are good on older menu sets and stuff that are still good that you can get. Otherwise, if you want new production, XMRE, it's a Florida-based company and they make really good MREs. And then like all the freeze-dried meal stuff, like the Alpine meals for the military are Mountain House. So Mountain House meals, also Stowaway Gourmet, really good meals. They're bougie, but they're really good. Those are really good freeze-dried meals. Stowaway Gourmet. Um, like a number of them, but no, there's so many good MRE meals. Like a lot of people hate on MREs, but honestly, like they're fine. I mean, as long as you can change it up at the menus, like you know, every other day or whatever, like it's fine. They're tasty enough, and you getting everything you need in them. So that was the first question. So that was good. Thank you, ACR. Second question, in my opinion, what do you think the ideal fixed blade knife length of the blade? Really depends your uses, but I mean, for like a field knife, like for field use and serving as a combat knife and stuff, I mean, it's got to be a pretty good length. Like that, that's why I really like the Cold Steel SRK or like the Verustoleka Tarava and stuff. Like those are both. I mean, I don't even know how long they are offhand, but they're pretty good sized blades. For a field knife, you want something between 6 and 10 inches. I'll put it in that bracket. Like you want a substantial field knife. Um, it's got to be able to hold up and be stout. Um, that's really what it comes down to with that. Um, yeah, the SRKs are great. They're actually really well made knives. I use the heck out of my SRK. I've got a bunch of other ones too. I'm a big knife guy, so I even still have my old 1040 steel M-Tech knife that I bought and that I had as a secondary knife in the army back in the day, field knife. I still have that thing. My buddy just sharpened that one for me not that long ago, and he's really good at sharpening blades, and it is you can shave with it. It is very sharp. Um, George Washington, thanks for tuning in. First off, hey, you're not late. You're not late. No, no, I've just started. Been trying to get Bongo Gear to order some Fraggy fabric on the daily. Yeah, I had sent Bongo Gear a message on Instagram too. I didn't really hear back from him. He's been spending a lot of time down in South America in the Amazon lately. He's part of that program where like they bring YouTubers and have them do like survival for like a week at a time and stuff. And he does some other stuff too. Um, so he's been gone a lot, but I'm hoping in the future Bongo Gear picks stuff up because I would love to see him make packs with the Fracti patterns. And we could talk about Fracti a little bit more after I answer the community, finish answering the community post questions. Oh, Glory, thanks for tuning in. Yes, thank you. Appreciate it, Glory. Um, so I answered the fixed blade knife question. So between 6 and 10 inches for a fixed blade knife length is proper for a field knife. And then ACR asked Streamlight, Olight, or Surefire. I use Streamlight a lot actually. I got a ProTech 2L sitting right here. These are my favorite handheld lights. Um, Surefires are fine too. I like the Surefires. I avoid Olight at all costs. Goombeam is also a good light. They have good lights as well. So yeah, I use Streamlights, but obviously Surefires are great. I have used those in the past in the military and contracting, and yeah, like there's several good brands out there, but I like Streamlights. They for the price, I mean, they just work. Um, and ACR's last question. Oh, Miklik said Streamlight flashlights are actually made by inmates. Well, so is a bunch of the clothing that we get in the military. All of our PT uniforms and stuff, they're all made by convicts in a federal prison, work prison in Kentucky, and I think Minnesota as well. I know a bunch of the furniture that GS that uh, GS supplies that GSA supplies to federal facilities and buildings and stuff. Like that's all made by federal convicts. Um, that's a large bulk of it. And the rest is supplied by like Uline. Um, but yeah, a lot of that's made by inmates. Um, Pilgrim, George Washington, Guppy Gilly suit. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Let me finish answering these community post questions. ACR's last question. Growing up, what was my favorite Halloween costume I wore? Dude, I wore a Batman costume a lot. Batman was one of my favorites growing up. And that was like back, like Michael Keaton Batman days. Um, yeah, I wore Batman costumes several years in a row. Uh, Definitely my favorite costume growing up, as far as for like Halloween and stuff, was Batman. I don't have an answer for you on that, Gen X Gemini. How can you retire this week, dude? The economy is killing us, man. I'm gonna have to drop a substantial amount of money to get my truck repaired with some stuff. I was driving it the other day, and two of the ignition coils went out and started misfiring really bad. That was a pain to try and drive. So I limped it over to the service shop. So have to get that fixed and need a brake job and stuff too, man. And it's the prices are just crazy on parts and everything right now. It's absolutely insane. Um, so I don't have an answer for you there, Gen X. You'll be at work until you're 80 at this point. So thank you for your questions, ACR. Appreciate it as always. Miklik said he wants to see me on camera how many burpees I can do. I don't have space in my place here. I am in a very tiny apartment. I do not have room in here to do burpees. I can do other things in my apartment, but yeah, especially even in this area, I just don't have space. So you ain't seeing that on camera. Shadowy Snowman 2141, the last community post question. His question is fairly in depth. Do most private military contractors have a special ops background? He recalls hearing back at Blackwater and maybe other PMC's heydays that they wanted only special operations veterans. Is this still true today, or are most PMCs from a more diverse set of backgrounds? 11 Bravo with 311, SWAT, Airborne, etc. Are PMCs still actively headhunting for ex special operations like they did back in the day, or no? So it's a multifaceted question. Private military contracting has always had a diversity of what they're looking for based on the contract and the position for job criteria and your experience. So infantry, prior airborne, prior SWAT, uh, you know, former active Marines and all that. Like they've all had a place in this industry. Um, so no, there's always been openings for them. A large contingent of like Worldwide Protective Services, the WIPS contract overseas and stuff. I mean, that's grunts like us and like former MPs and former SWAT guys and all that. As well as like your TST, your tactical support team, or ERT as it's called now, emergency response team, your QRFs and stuff, your counter ambush teams, like and all that. Like that's a mix of those guys, grunts, Marines, and all that, ex SWAT, and then you have special operations in the mix too. And a lot of special operations, kind of going into the second part of your question, a lot of them get recruited for the OGA or other government agency contracts. So like your GRS and contracts like that, like some of that stuff and like Scorpion program, and things like that, like and other paramilitary operations stuff. But they work the WIPS contract in a variety of ways to include some of that tiered stuff as much as more of the direct pipeline contract work that's done for intelligence agencies and the Department of Defense and stuff. So there's a lot of different contracts. There's a lot of different positions, and based on what positions there are, everything from static and mobile guard to active QRF teams to PSD protective security detail teams, your defensive marksman, defensive sniper work, and then your other government agency work, um, which a lot of it's still highly reactive, reactionary and response work. It's a whole wide range, and a lot of different types of people that get into that work, based on what their background is. Now, criteria. I mean, a lot of the time with job listings, unless it's like a super top secret kind of thing, and it's very much kept in that OGA kind of climate, the job listings are very blatant and open on what their expectations and criteria are for applying to those job positions on the various companies' websites and like with the ADP portal and things like that. So you can go look and see if you qualify or not, and like what all that info is. So if you've got some experience, um, typically they prefer you to have at least one combat or expeditionary deployment. Things like that. Like you have a range of jobs that you can get into. So that's kind of the long and short of it, kind of condensing that down. So hopefully that answered your question. So it was a good one. And it's one I've kind of answered before, but kind of rehashing that information is good. There's also I've got videos on it, and then Kenny Elisea with Vets to PSC. He's a former Green Beret. He's got some really good in-depth videos to include a discussion podcast type episode where he talks with a triple canopy recruiter, who had also worked in the game and stuff too. I worked for triple canopy before. Really good information that's up to date, and it's the same stuff that I say too. So not really anything new, but it does lay it out. It's a lot of the time when hiring and onboarding with these companies, the training period is more of an assessment that you can show the skills that you have. There is some up training, but a lot of it is just assessment. Like, can you verify this background? Which, if you can, you get on board. If you can't, or you just have too many infractions during training, you're done. That's no ifs, ands, or buts. Not really a three strike system. Like, it's usually just one, maybe two. If you mess up bad, you're done. You're not getting that job. So that kind of condensing all that down for you. So hopefully that answered your question. So it's a good one, and I appreciate it. Okay, coming back through the chat here. Blah, 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 blah. Answered some of this. We'll talk about frac T here in a second. Um, you know how long you can stay, Old Glory? You're in rough shape. Well, hope you do better, man. George Washington, we're fixing to get an influx of Flecktarn due to the Bundeswehr coming into full swing over the Multitarn. Correct. A lot of it's going to be going to Ukraine too. Um, I have some insider information about that. But yeah, a lot of it's going to be coming to the surplus market, which is awesome. It's Flecktarn's great, especially for this time of the year. Autumn, beautiful season. Love autumn. Flecktarn, especially in the northern half of the country here in the U.S., it's perfect for it. So, Pilgrim, what's up, dude? Um, said hey to everyone else. What kind of truck? I have a 4Runner. It's a 21-year-old 4Runner, so it's an early Gen 4. The thing is a tank, man. It just keeps running and running. But unfortunately, a couple of things just compounded all at once right now. And I'm going to be paying for it with work that needs to be done on it. So I got the misfire, so I need all the spark plugs changed, and the ignition coils changed. And then I need a brake job, and I guess my rear axle's leaking out of one of the seals right now, so that's gonna get fixed too. So it's yeah. Pricing out parts, I mean, it would cost me the same, if not a little bit more, just ordering the parts and trying to do some of it myself or with help of someone because I can't do it here. Um, so a lot of it's labor, but like parts are just now speaking of, here's my service guy. So give me a second, everyone. Hello? Hey bud. No, it's all right, man. Yeah. Yeah, I did get it, so I was kind of looking it over. Whew, quite a bit that compounded there. Okay, so obviously the spark plugs and ignition coils need done because it's not really drivable with the misfiring going on. Um, so that's first and foremost. But it's just yeah, yeah. Just do them all. Just do them all. Um, yeah, I know parts prices are astronomical right now. Okay, 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 yeah, right, yeah, 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 yeah. It felt it yeah, it felt like two cylinders were misfiring when it happened. So yeah, I would assume that it's two sets of them. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right, right. Yeah, that stuff first and foremost. I just the ones that need taken care of. Then I guess do those. Um, yeah. uh, No, it's yeah. I understand. I understand. Yeah, just yeah. What needs to be done there? Yeah. Um, I'm gonna go with you guys on that and just do what needs to be done with that. We'll do that. Um, I did not realize that that rear axle had that seal leaking. I because I was told last time it was a caliper. Um, uh, well, no, well, it was a prior, yeah, at a prior service and a prior inspection, they said that that left rear caliper was leaking, which is why all that fluid is kind of all over, and it does smell like brake fluid. But I just wanted to confirm that it is actually the axle seal. Um, yeah, okay. So, I mean that obviously kind of needs to be done too. Yeah, it the price looked really high on that too. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Rough. Yeah, that's rough. Because I only have so much of that I can work with, you know. Like I can only do like three, maybe 3,500 at most. That's most I can do. So I'm trying to yeah, it's rough, dude. I'm trying to pick what can and can't be done. Um, insofar as insofar as the front calipers, from what I could see in the pictures, it looks like they're at least still working, kind of like. So I don't know if he can just work a little magic and try and get them unstuck a little bit instead of replacing them because it's gonna save some costs. Because I know, yeah, that would be great. But I know obviously brakes need to be done, so I need to do rotors and pads um, with everything. So and you should so yeah. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. That would be great. I would really appreciate that. Um, Yeah, because that'll save me a good amount if I don't have to do those at least right away. I'll have to do them in the future, but again, I only have so much I can work with right now. So I need so I know pads and rotors need done. So I mean, there's those need to get done. You know, um, I can't change them. I can't change them at my place here because I'm not allowed to do it in my lot and stuff. So um, you know, I don't have anyone else with the lift uh, to be able to do it right. So, I mean, it has to be done. So, I just, as much as you guys can work with me on it, you know, um, yeah, I would really appreciate it. But yeah, I mean, that's, yeah. So not the calipers, but yeah, brakes and rotors or pads and rotors, you know. Yeah, I appreciate it. So, okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, I mean, those need done. Yeah. Um, let me let me see here. Correct. Yeah. So the rear brake pads and rotors, it's quoted at what 680.49, and yeah. So I mean, that's probably going to be the same cost for the front as well, just for the rotors and pads. Um, yeah. So yeah, yeah, yep. So yep, that's what I'm looking at. So I just need to, yeah, just as much as you guys can work with me on it, because I only have so much that I can actually do. So, um, yeah. So yeah, just yeah. Uh, I don't know what time. I would assume that you're going to be heading out soon. So, as soon as right, right, right. Well, it's definitely leaking onto the wheel and stuff. Yeah. So I don't know. Like I don't know. I take it that oil just stays self-contained in there, and it's just leaking out. Yeah. 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 I mean, it seems to be dripping out. I don't think it's like yeah. I mean, it's dripping out enough where it's coating it, and obviously I'm smelling it every time I'm driving or after I'm done driving. So yeah, yeah. I just yeah. It's a lot. I know it's a lot of labor. So and I mean I can do some work on vehicles, but I mean axles. That's a whole other ball game. That definitely needs someone apt to do it, and it sounds like he's the right guy for the job. So, um, but yeah, just uh, I guess with the let me know adjusted quote and stuff, and we'll try and figure out what I need to do. Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, yeah, I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Yep, thank you. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Yep, thanks. Bye. Bye. Sorry about that, folks. Prime time for my service guy to call me. He's right before he's heading out the door. So yeah. Uh, anybody want to give me, 5 grand? Oh, rough. Um, does anyone want to buy a slightly used left eye? No, thankfully I have perfect eyesight. Uh, yeah, what kind of truck? It's my Forerunner. It's my Forerunner. 2004 Forerunner SR5. So early fourth gen, man. It's been a tank. The engine's still great. Transmission's great. Those things run forever. Very reliable vehicles, but it's just so happens, especially being up north here, a lot of salt in the winter and stuff, and the winter conditions. It wreaks havoc on parts that are exposed to the runoff and stuff, and it just everything compounds at once. It's a 21-year-old truck, so I mean, it's just maintenance things have to be done. Obviously, regular maintenance is done. It's just every once in a while, sometimes a couple of things happen at once. So this is one of those times. So being prepared for it. It's just right now with the economy, it fucking sucks just because of the prices of everything. Everything costs twice as much. So it's not great. Um, favorite cheap dot or scope? Um, I run the Primary Arms SLX 5x36, so it's a poor man's ACOG. That is my all-time. It is my all-time favorite reticle besides ACOG, but because the SLX has the ACSS Aurora reticle, it's my favorite combat reticle. It is a fantastic optic, um, and that's what I prefer. That's what I prefer to run. Um, Cost is not bad on them, so if you go to Primary Arms and check it out. Um, Price is pretty good on the SLX 5x36, the standard size. I don't do the micros. Some people like the micros. That's fine. They're good to go. The 5x36 is good. Fixed five power, and it's great. It's a great optic. I love the ACSS Aurora reticle. Nope, not a Mopar guy. No Dodge. Liquid painkiller for your eye. Ooh, yikes. Torment and Vet, what's up, dude? Thanks for tuning in, bro. Sorry, I had to take a pause there because I got a call from my service guy about critical work I need done on my truck. Chris Larson collab for the channel. I would love to talk with Chris Larson more. I've done training at the One Shepherd Grounds, the Alpha Company down in Missouri, but that was with SNS Training Solutions for Winter Forge. It was a good time. Um, there's a couple of things that I could see being improved, at least for the forward operating base, the main staging area of the facility and stuff. It's very bare bones. Um, for a large training facility like that. Uh, could definitely get spruced up a little bit. But fantastic training. All the people in Cadre are great and everything. And Chris obviously is an awesome guy. And I talk to him in comments back and forth on videos all the time and stuff. And he's an excellent guy. Just a great group of people over there. Toyota makes a great vehicle. They do. They run forever, man. Yep. No, I appreciate it, Ghillie Suit. It just is what it is, you know. All good. 89 Toyota T100. Dude, that's awesome, George Washington. Those are fantastic vehicles. Solid. Yeah, you keep up with it, you know. It's just additional besides the aging of the vehicle, it's the environmental conditions that just wreak havoc on parts more and more, you know. So it just is what it is. A lot of salt and now brine that's used up here uh during the winter. And the winter's very harsh, obviously. So um rust is a cruel mistress when it comes to that. And just parts wearing out over time, you know. No, Guppy. They don't. I mean, it's all going on a credit card anyway at this point. Frac T hasn't taken off enough for me to be able to have, you know, fuck you money. So not yet. Not yet anyway. You know. Nope. I gotta pay for it all. They're gonna try and see what they can do to work around some things, you know. They are good there about that. And you know, I bought the truck from this dealership and service shop. Um, I have very good rapport with them. I know a couple of guys that work there. One of them's an ex-firefighter and stuff. You know, he's a homie and stuff. He doesn't work in the service department anymore, unfortunately. He'd probably be able to get me a even better deal. But just with the way the economy is right now, it's just they can only do so much. And gotta respect that. And just understand that's just the way things are right now, unfortunately. Um, yeah, hell yeah, those trucks are awesome. George Washington's got, they're awesome. 89 was a great year. Oh, yeah. Oh, rear diff is fine. Engine's fine, transmission's fine, rear diff is fine, and all that. Like, I take care of it, but again, because of additional conditions, you know, environmental conditions, it just wreaks havoc on vehicles. Tin Man Metal, thanks for tuning in, brother. Sorry, late. I had to take a phone call pause there for a few minutes. I'm okay, except for all the truck stuff going on. I gotta get a bunch of work done on my truck. And it's not going to be cheap and it hurts, but it's still going to be cheaper right now than even considering a newer like used vehicle because again because of the economy, dude. 550 to $750 payments a month on a vehicle, on a newer vehicle, that's ludicrous. um and just prices of used vehicles are through the roof right now, so it's just like no, I got to keep this thing running. I got a really good deal on it back when I did buy it used, and you take care of it and it'll take care of you. But again, aging environmental conditions, parts just wear out, so got to get them fixed. So I've got some ignition coils and some spark plugs I need replaced because my truck started misfiring the other day while I was driving it. And then I need my, I'm due for a brake job. I knew that was coming up, and then I guess I thought a caliper was leaking, but it turns out it's actually I also have a rear axle. One of the rear axle seals is leaking now, so I gotta get that fixed too. So it's rough. Um, Torment Vet, you have an issue ACOG on your AR, same one you had on your last deployment. Nice. Was it one of the older? Was that one of the older like TA-31s, or you have to let me know because that's awesome. Oh, you have glaucoma, Guppy? Yeah, that sucks, man. Sorry to hear that. Road scudge is no joke. You hate the winter slurry damage, dude. Yeah, and Tin Man, because you live in a northern state too. Between all the snow and the ice, and then all the salt, and they use brine here now too, in part instead of the salt. They use the brine more when it's above a certain temperature, and then once it gets below a certain freezing temperature, they have to switch to the salt because the brine will freeze too. Um, but it's more environmentally friendly, and it does a pretty good job. But just like rock salt, it wreaks havoc on any exposed parts in your frames. It just is what it is. Torment Event. Oh, TA-31. Hell yeah, dude. That's awesome. Pretty solid reticles in them. I don't like them quite as much as the ACSS, like the Aurora and stuff, but uh, I had an ACOG in the military too on the back half, and it was fantastic. Yeah, I like them. Now, those fixed 4 power and 5 power RCOs are just the best all around general use optic. I hate magnifier dot combos. Magnifiers always blow out what's already a 2 to 4 MOA dot. You have to co-witness magnification of the magnifier to the red dot as well. It's just, and then you got to make sure that they're both height right is the same for co-witness and everything. It's just such a pain in the ass, and I hate them. Um, a fixed power RCO, no frills, with a good combat reticle that gives you all of your distance elevation, PID windage, all that stuff. It's all in there in that package in a well designed and thought out reticle. That's all you need, and then obviously iron sights for backups, because if you don't have backup irons on your stuff, you're wrong. But yeah, they, it's a tried and true package. There's a reason we're still using them because they're just good. And it's the same for the primary arms SLX as 5 power. That's what I use. And it's the same deal. It's just good. It's got everything you need right there. Ooh, but I need to shoot targets closer up. It's called a holdover or bend and shoot method or point shoot. You have options. You don't need to get a bunch of extra crap on your rifle, make it way more, have more points of failure, all that stuff. Like there's no point in doing any of that. Keep it simple. Modern Frontiersman. Hey guys. What's up, homo? What's up, dude? But yeah. So freaking sorry about that, but I had to take that call. That was important. So I've got a loaner vehicle right now from them. It's a 2024 Tacoma TRD. Pretty cool truck. There are some things I don't like about it though. So it gives me a good gauge on the new vehicles compared to mine. And yeah, there are some things I do not like about it. All the screens and shit, digital gauges, no, get rid of that shit. I don't want any of that. So like theoretically, if I were to do like a new build, new vehicle at some time in the future, it would basically be a stripped out fleet vehicle version. It would be as simple as possible because I don't want any of that trash in there. Proper proper dial analog gauges. Give me a CD player. Make sure the heat and AC works. Give me a manual stick shift. Good to go. I don't need anything else. Yep, Kentucky windage, exactly. Yeah, do more with less on your rifle. Learn skills, sucker. 100%, brother. 1,000%. That's what's up. Like, all these people that need all these extra doodads and stuff on the rifles, they're just bad shooters, you know? They think that's gonna make them a better shooter, but no, it's still on them as a shooter. Like, it doesn't matter any of that. You can either hit 500 with irons or you can't. You can either hit 500 with an RCO or you can't. You so on and so forth, you know, let alone all the other actual warrior skills and everything. Exactly, Tin Man. Yeah, new vehicles look cool, but they suck otherwise. I mean, there's some of the look of this is okay, but like it's just like a lot of that fluff on the inside I do not want. And that would greatly reduce the price. I've actually so not long ago I contacted Toyota corporate for the US down in Texas. I sent them some emails and be like, "Hey, why are you not offering a more basic version? Because obviously the economy is shit right now. People cannot afford these new production vehicles at the prices that they're asking. You know, like offer something a little more economical. That's one of the core fundamentals of what Toyota was all about in the first place. Maybe do that. You know, offer a $20,000 pickup. Offer a $20,000 Tacoma. You have no idea how many people would buy that. You know, none of this electric shit either. No hybrid shit either. Like just a tried and true good V6 VVT engine, 5-speed manual, 4-wheel drive, bare bones pickup truck. That's all most of us want in here. You know, we don't need all that extra fluff. Exactly. A sub fleet model Tacoma. Exactly. And then as an additional option, again, because of the region and conditions, I would have it undercoated. Have the frame and stuff undercoated. I would do that. That's really the only extra thing that I would do on it, honestly. Other extra additional things I would just get along the way, you know, over time. But like, keep it simple. Same with rifles, the same with vehicles. Keep it simple. You don't need a lot of that shit. People are just, and this is a trend that's been happening in recent years too. People are just becoming worse and worse drivers too. Um, a lot of states you don't have to do driver's ed if you're 18 years of age. Everybody should be required to do driver's ed. Everybody. And then once you hit a certain age later in life, you should be doing driver's ed or having a driving test every couple of years. Because a lot of states don't do that. You would reduce a lot of accidents on the road, and you reduce a lot of bad drivers if everybody had proper driver's ed instilled into them, conditioned into them. A lot of really bad drivers out there, and it's just getting worse. All these extra fluff things in vehicles, circling back to it, all these extra fluff things in vehicles does not make you a better driver. It's just a way to upcharge the price of the vehicle and add a bunch of unnecessary shit. And driving is a privilege, not a right, you know. Blah blah blah. They don't give us a Hilux and offer us that 20K Tacoma with bare bones circa 1993. Exactly. Even like the early 2000s, like what I have, it is bare bones. There's an aftermarket stereo in it, and whoever the one prior owner to it that had it before me, that's what they put in it, and that was it. It's perfectly fine. It is very basic, and I'm very happy with it. It has run like a champ, you know. So like offer that. And that's what I asked Toyota corporate. I was like, offer that. They're like, oh, you need to hit up your local dealership to see what you can do about build options and all that. I'm like, you know, that's not an answer, you know, like really. Like you're the ones making the vehicles, not the dealer. They're the dealer. You're the ones making the vehicles. This is what I'm telling you I want, you know. Because even with the build options that they offer, like in the Toyota website or with a dealer, it's not gonna provide you, it's not gonna afford you that much of a minimization. So like, no, unacceptable. Yes, you don't need an entertainment station and cappuccino machine in your vehicle. Exactly. It's bullshit. George Washington rocking an A2 Freedom rifle. Basic as it gets. Yeah. A2, C2, Yeah, it's fantastic. Trained and ran an M16A4 the first half of my army career. Great rifle. Very basic. I had an M203 on there too. I miss having that, but it is what it is. George Washington, closest we can get is late 80 T100. I know, man. America. Exactly. Yeah. So, sorry, I was expecting a call earlier. Kind of threw me off on the live, but we're getting back into the swing of things here. Ugh. Finish off this Red Bull I've been babying for like 4 hours. Ugh. SOS, hey dude, thanks for tuning in. And water time. Oh, Liberty Liberty bottles, U.S. made metal bottles. This one's Dark Angel medical one that I got from them years ago. These are discontinued, but another fantastic made in America company. Liberty bottles. Hydrate. Drink water. All of you drink water. Uh, Gilly MOA at 200 was quarter inch with 7mm mag using Barnes boat tails. Nice. SOS, Swish. Thanks again for tuning in, bro. What's up, DJ? Just wanted to say hey. Hi. Hanging with your son, so you can't stay. Well, say hey to the fam for me. Hope everyone's doing well. Much love as well, brother. Right back at you. Appreciate it. Loop tube on an A4. Yeah, dude. Yep. I loved it. It was awesome. And for a while, we were rocking the old aim points, the M68 CCOs, which is like basically no magnification on that, just a combat dot, thing. And the aim points are stout, man. You can beat the hell out of them. But I was much happier when we got ACOGs. I was much happier because I'm a really good shot. So, being able to be an accurate marksman as well as the grenadier, dude, life was good. George Washington, do you like stainless style French press coffee maker around the campfire, though? But that's about as fancy as they get. Well, no, for in the field, French press is fine. That's cowboy coffee style, kinda. That's fine. If you can pack it out, pack it in. Let's see, suck that can any harder to go blind. Hey, get every drop, man. Every last drop of God's nectar that is Red Bull. I do. I just drink 2 a days on them. One in the morning. If I don't do coffee, I don't do coffee very often. Hot coffee gives me really bad heartburn. So every once in a while, though, it's fine. Out in the field, it's a blessing for sure. I don't mind iced coffee, but no, it's the Red Bull. And there's actually less caffeine in the Red Bull too, but you get some other vitamins and a nice like sugar boost too. Guppy Gilly, love the information and conversations on Shannon brother. Definitely a firm support. Well, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for tuning in. I like having these. I like doing these Q&As. I like having good discussions with people, uh, especially when there's a good foundation of experience and knowledge behind it, and just general understanding, being a well learned person. That doesn't necessarily mean academically, just like and that's kind of the circle of people all the awesome subscribers and friends and circles of people that I talk with and affiliate with and everything. Like a lot of learned people in many different ways, and it makes for great discussions. Uh, Apart from being cultured individuals as well, not being a totally insulated, ignorant American, in that mindset anyway. Like should understand the world a bit, and just it helps you just be a well-rounded person. Roar, 10 gauge. What's up, man? Thanks for tuning in, you boomer. What's up, man? Yes, I did see the latest Dugan uploads. He is a national treasure. I'll just put it that way. He's doing some very fun things. We'll put it that way. Doug, Dugan, love you, man. You're awesome. And I'm glad your health is all right, because I know you were going through a lot uh for a while there. And I know something like that isn't curable, dealing with those conditions, but I'm glad you're doing well, and thank you for what you're doing. Again, you're a national treasure, brother. Love you. Um, yeah, great videos though. So you're saying you're not redneck cultured? I mean, you're pretty far north. You're a Yankee redneck, as far as anyone's concerned. There, you're in the freaking Catskills or Adirondacks, whatever. You're up in freaking New York State. We don't, even out here in the Great Lakes, North Midwest. It's not rednecks. Like there are some redneck things, obviously, when you're out in the sticks and stuff, but we're not called rednecks. Like people in the South are. Exactly. Well-rounded makes you more gooder. Yes, that's exactly it. Smoke him if you got him. George Washington recently got back into raising rabbits. Hey, that's cool. Meat rabbits are cool, man. I mean, delicious. I eating rabbit is tasty. Some my two favorite ways to eat it are just roasted over a fire, or then you roast it and then you get it all broken apart and everything, and then you slow cook it into a stew. Conies, as it's called otherwise, but like rabbit stew, almost like a chowder stew, like the same way you do like a baked potato chowder or something. Really, really, really good. So that's awesome. Got the rednecks there for sure, and the Amish. A lot of Amish there and here now. There's a lot of Amish in my state that have been showing up, coming transplanting from over in your neck of the woods, Tin Man. It's all right. They do fantastic work. Very excellent craftsmen, but kind of weird otherwise. They make really good food too, obviously, but a little weird otherwise. A little bit on the lean side for the winter months as far as meat goes. Well, yeah, you get really fatten them up. What food rabbits should be eating, the high fat content stuff. 870s are great shotguns. I've got some time on 870s. A tried and true shotgun. Those had a little have a little background in time on the Benelli M4s. Even a little on like the 1301s and stuff, but that's not like not typically a mill or law enforcement shotgun. 870s are tried and true though. Use those more than anything. I did have a Winchester Ranger 120R shotgun for a while. I just wasn't bird hunting and stuff enough with it to dignify keeping it around though. So sold it to a Winchester collector because it was a kind of a rare model of 120R. Um, so it went to a good home because a dude that has quite an extensive vault of Winchester firearms ended up buying it. Yep, make TMT Chungus rabbits. Exactly. Yeah, Amish build great root cellars. Also roofs. A lot of them around here, apart from like other bespoke goods they make and stuff, a lot of them have construction and roofing businesses. The roofing work that they do is fantastic, and it's generational too. Like you have the Amish install a steel roof on your house, that guy's son's son will come back and replace it in the future. They have the best warranty out of anyone, you know? So I give them props for that. Yeah, I know you like your 10 gauges, 10 gauge ogre. I know you like your 10 gauges. Did I ever use chop breachers? A little bit. We trained on them. I didn't carry a breacher. I know some of the airborne guys did, like Chris. I know Krisky did. Um, we had one of our sergeants would carry a breacher. It wasn't my fire team, but one of our platoon sergeants had a breacher. Um, Again, a little training on them, but never got to use any of those in the field. Even in contracting side, a lot of it was just standard like 870s and stuff. So yeah, I know you like your Ithacas too. 10 gauge. Firing pin broke on it. Oof. Nope. George Washington, I love your old Winchester 1300. They're kind of built in Turkey nowadays. Um, some of it, yeah. Yep. Barn moving that they do. The barn moving. Yep. All right. Let's talk about Frac T camo. My brand, my company, my business. Frac T, Fractal Spectral Camouflage Systems. So anybody that's going to be coming in here, you're going to want to come back to this timestamp. Save it for later. Um, so I'm trying to find a manufacturer for hoodies. That's domestic. There's a couple other smaller businesses that I've kind of networked with through like Instagram business pages and stuff that make like anoraks and pullover jackets and things like that. Like they're going to be picking up some material to make some stuff with. Several gear makers are getting on board. Swift Design and Textile, or Textile and Design. Swift makes excellent slings, some of the best on the market, along with some other stuff. He's picked up some yardage to do an initial run of stuff. Shepherd Associated, another gear maker, is going to be picking up some stuff. He just relocated to a new facility, a bigger one. He's going to be picking up stuff. I think uh, there's a couple others I think that are coming on board. I think Citadel Defense at some point, once he sells off some of the stock that he has right now, he's going to come on board. Um, and he makes great chest rigs and stuff. Bug Out Bushido is starting a business. He makes gear as well. He'll be getting stuff. I think Fatty Westside said he wants to start something at some point. Um, there's several other companies that are going to be coming on board. Tact Wrap, which makes adhesive camouflage wrap for firearm components like your stocks, magazines, magwells, stuff like that. Wraps on scopes and stuff. He's picking up yardage soon. So the expansion is happening. Clothing stuff, besides the like one or two makers that I just started talking to, that's still the hardest thing to find right now and to work with. I have a conference call tomorrow morning for another textile printer as well for more material types for printing onto the market to see if they want to get on board as well. Um, so we'll see what happens with that. Hopefully it'll go well. Um, that's early in the morning. Then I'll be talking with them. So if that becomes official, I'll be making announcements about that. So we'll see. But yeah, just so things are moving along and more, but it's a lot of smaller companies, which are the ones I want to support, and partner with and grow the presence and expansion, various gear tester platforms and all that. When stuff comes out, they can do stuff with it. I need to get some stuff to Brent at some point, Brent 0331, to do some testing. I'm going to be a sponsor on this coming season of Sear Challenge with Randall Grunt Proof. So I'll be sending them some products and things like that. But basically, it's just keep spreading the word about Frac T and keep keep sharing it with people. Keep letting keep hitting up gear companies like some of you are dedicated supporters and diligently doing, and I appreciate that so much. It really helps to keep getting the word out there. Apart from all the marketing I'm doing and everything, and just you know connecting and networking with more companies, and just finding what the right outfits and organizations are going to be to work with. So it's just more of that expansion. So just keep spreading the word. Um, especially especially with all this stuff coming up that I'm going to have to be paying for out of pocket uh, to be able to keep on the road and everything else. The more people that buy yardage, the more I'm going to be doing okay as a company. So, um, and people that want to make, people that want to order some yardage and make personal items for themselves, non-retail, go for it. Please do. If you got local seamsters and seamstresses that are in your area, look them up. If you want certain things made or whatever, they can make one-offs for you for your personal needs and use. Do it up, you know. That's the thing about the main printer I'm working with right now, Rainier Fabrics. That's orderable fabric. So if you have a sewing hobby, you like DIY projects and all that, you can just go buy yardage of frac T patterns. There's a collection specifically for frac T where you can order whatever you need. They also have some pre-made products, so they got various things um, to include like towels and like other things, bandanas and all that. Um, face neck gaiters, balaclavas, and polar fleece caps, beanies should be coming onto their catalog soon as well because they work with a bunch of local seamsters and seamstresses in their area to make products for them to retail. So those should be coming online as well soon too to their catalog. So they have some limited pre-made products as of right now, but as far as yardage goes, people could just order it. When it comes to companies ordering the yardage, usually I want them to contact me so I can send them branded fabric tags to attach because that's part of the branding that's required for retail products. But for larger retail products, but that's the only aside. Otherwise, you know, licensing is with the printer and everything, so that's how it works. So just keep spreading the word, and I will be eternally grateful. And the more I can expand, the more successful the brand can be, the more access to the camouflage can become. So, let's see. Yeah, Krisky did carry one of the breachers. Freck mother effing T. Freck T. Fractal Spectral Camouflage Systems. Um, Yep, I have a website. I have a business page on Instagram and all that. So, Bukovac, what's up, bro? Sorry I didn't see your message there. I was kind of rattling off about updates with the Camel brand and some more companies that are coming on board and trying to expand. Trying to keep this afloat because I had to put a lot of money into getting the business started in the first place, just as a branding and licensing out entity, with ownership of the patterns and stuff. Lawyer fees are not cheap. Filing trademark is not cheap. Copyright wasn't that bad, but that's investment, So all in all, it was a considerable amount of money just to get everything going, and then having to pay for maintaining a website and all that stuff. So the more companies that can get on board, the better, and the more the word is spread, the more that helps me. Tin Man Metal, any talks with Wendigo Works? So I follow them on IG. Um, I did reach out to them initially, but I haven't heard anything, so I'm gonna hit them up again, and see what's up. After I talk with this other textile printer tomorrow morning, um, and hopefully they come on board too. But I don't know what their retail and distribution system is like, because again, I don't do any direct retail myself. I let the licensing with the printers and their distribution handle that. Um, it makes no sense for me to order stuff, get it here, and then ship it again when it could be ordered direct from them, yardage and otherwise. Plus, I don't have the space for it, so that would be more cost to have logistics for storage and everything for rolls of material It's just easier when the printer is a retailer and has a system in place already, which thankfully Rainier does. I don't know about this other company that I'm talking to tomorrow. Hopefully they do, or at least have some facilitation as third party uh, fabric distributors like Rocky Woods Fabrics, for example. Just one of many examples. But we'll see what happens with that. But I do need to hit up Wendigo Works. I've tried to, George Washington. I've tried to hit up 02401 multiple times. Heard nothing. Bug Out stuff is legit. Yeah, Bug Out Bushido makes awesome gear. I can't wait for him to actually get his like formal business put together because um I worked with him. We worked together for the FL pattern and the Fracti line of patterns. The FL pattern was a direct collaboration with Bug Out Bushido. He has since moved from Florida, but the FL pattern, we worked together on that. And that's one of the main patterns that he'll be picking up to make equipment with, apart from all the others. So I can't wait for him to get his business started because he's going to be a really solid partner. He makes really quality stuff. No, you're good, Guppy. Yeah, yeah, got the website. It's good stuff. Tin Man. If ever you can get your damn shit going, you'll be carrying it too. Yeah, yeah. Whenever you get that ready to go, Tin Man, man. I mean, obviously it takes some time and investment, but as soon as you got that up and running, dude, we're freaking off to the races. I'll send you that prototype LBE that I have too, the Risky Recondo rig, LRP rig. I'll send that prototype to you so you can look at it and kind of polish up the design of it to have a market ready product that you can just start production on. Um, Thank you, Guppy. Appreciate it, man. I spent a long time designing and developing and designing those patterns to work. 24/7, 365. George Washington, you're awesome, man. You're such a big supporter. And when things get taken off here, and when I get some promotional products and stuff, I'm gonna send you some because you've done a lot to reach out to companies as well. It has not gone unnoticed. So I really appreciate you, man. Um, 10 gauge, you got enough to worry about, man. You got enough to worry about with all the expenses you have right now. Yeah, so this printer tomorrow that I'm talking to does Nyko ripstop. So hopefully we can make something work. Yeah. Um right, yeah. I mean, there's alternatives to the ripstop that are good for apparel and stuff, like the windbreaker for, jackets and stuff, the Montana fleece for like cold weather and stuff, and Rainier Fabrics has those fabrics, those materials that they print on. So like your polar fleece and all that stuff. The Montana fleece is even better than a standard polar fleece, like what you see with the polar fleece liners for like field jackets and stuff. Montana fleece is even better than that. Um, so those options are out there. But yeah, as far as like Nyko ripstop or ripstop in particular, yeah, that's something they don't do that I'm hoping that this other printer will get on board and does do, apart from other standard denier nylons and stuff. So ripstop is a big one that people have been asking about. But the one of the companies that makes like the anoraks and the jackets and stuff on a smaller scale, he's going to be picking up some of the windbreaker material to make jackets, so that's cool. But yeah, hopefully soon. Hopefully soon for ripstop. In particular, like your Nyko or Polyco ripstop. Yeah, hopefully soon. Um, it's hard because with Nyko and Polyco ripstop, digital printing, dye sublimation, which is a gasification of dye to imprint the pattern onto material, it doesn't work great for ripstop. So it has to be done either inkjet or older rotary screen style. My patterns can't be done rotary screen because of how randomized they are. You can't make a screen for that. Um, because it's much more randomizing an advanced pattern like that. So it has to be a digital print variant of some kind. There's a couple of different types that do it. So, um, Guppy, it's awesome. Really hope business takes off. All right, we're getting there. I appreciate it, man. We're getting there. Um, I mean, it's in full print and access, for companies, and a couple have are starting to come on board. It's just need to start moving a little bit more yardage and just get more companies on board, and that's just part of that business development process. I reach out to a lot of companies to talk to a lot of people, so that's just how it is. That's it's business. So yeah, I appreciate it, 10 gauge. You know, the more the merrier for promotion. All right, Tin Man. Thanks for tuning in, bro. I'll see you later. I'll talk to you in chat. You take care, man. I'll be chowing down as soon as this live is done. I usually go for about 2 hours. Got about 50 minutes left, so um soon. But yeah, Guppy is the absolute best comment. Yeah, everyone needs support. Absolutely. Covert Breakout. What's up, dude? Thanks for tuning in. Better late than never. Absolutely. Appreciate you coming in, man. George Washington received at least 2 cease and desist letters, so you're doing something. Holy crap, dude! Don't harass him. Don't harass him, man. Come on. We don't need that happening. Yeah, Anorak would be cool. It's oh my god. Why am I blanking on the name right now? Uh Once it gets more formal that I know he's ordered material and I can send him fabric tags, I'll be making announcements like on the IG and stuff. And I usually make a post announcement on my YouTube channel and stuff too in the community post section. So, damn, who'd you get cease and desist from, man? That's we don't need that happening, man. You got you don't, I appreciate the dedication. I do. But that's wild, dude. Cover breakout. Very interesting what was said. We played this one. Any quick updates on what you have going on, DJ? So I just did a whole update on the Frac T camo, my camouflage brand. So you'll have to rewatch that. Starts about the 56-minute mark. Um, Other stuff, mainly that, and then there are some music stuff. There are music things that are going to be coming out soon. One of the bands that I'm in that actually plays gigs and all that. Uh, it's a black and death metal band called Aposticum. Our first full length album is in mix and master right now. The album's called Sounding the Seven Horns. That'll be released in November, and we're playing an album release show and stuff for that. And then I don't know if we're gonna do a tour, like a big tour, because that's very expensive. But we may do a small regional tour, like hit a couple of spots in a couple of states at some point. But other than that, just playing shows. But yeah, that album's coming out soon. Uh, just had the album drop with another project called Eldarion, The Journey of Heroes, both an instrumental version and a full vocal version. Tolkien themed epic metal. Um, so some of that recently, and then a bunch of other projects are all listed in the about section of my channel. Um, Other than that, it's mainly just the Frac T camo stuff, because I'm trying to shift away from other work that I do apart from graphic design. I'm going to keep doing graphic design commissions and all that stuff because I like doing that, and I do a lot of that both for the music scene and for people's businesses, YouTube channels and whatnot, apparel, all that stuff. Custom camouflage pattern designs, I can do that for people. I do that as a service through Frac T. Um, but like I like doing that, all that kind of stuff. So I'll keep doing that alongside really trying to go all in with making the Frac T camo brand business work. Um, but I really gotta, kind of ramp things up and just get more people on board. So that's really a lot of what's going on. So, and then having to have parts replaced on my truck and stuff, and it's not going to be cheap because it's an older truck, and just the environmental conditions up here wreak havoc on exposed parts of vehicles. So I'm trying to get fixed what I can get fixed to keep her roadworthy. So that's about what's going on, Covert Breakout. Quite a bit of stuff, but just doing what I can where I can, Guppy Gilly suit. Skull 10 gauge. Guppy Gilly suit. When your company really takes off, don't forget to include socks and underwear. Building a good camouflage, you need to start with underwear in your personal opinion when starting apparel. So some of the some of the smaller seamstresses and seamsters and stuff that have collections also on the Rainier Fabrics website, and kind of work with them and retail products and stuff. They do make like swimwear, a lot of swimwear, um, and like even like lingerie and stuff. That'd be kind of funny to see in camo pattern and my camo patterns. I wouldn't be mad about it. More the merrier for products. And it all, it's I've got all the trademark goods classes and stuff that cover everything, outside of backpacks and tactical gear too. So that all falls in a lot of the same classes for apparel and everything. So it's kind of funny. But yeah, that stuff's out there too, as options. Um, but a lot of, obviously really trying to cater to the military tactical equipment, hunting equipment, all that stuff. But a lot of that other stuff not off the table, and some of the pre-made products that you can already buy, to include bandanas, rally towels, that kind of stuff, are available on the Rainier Fabrics website as well with my patterns. Um, I think they offer a wallpaper too, actually. So nothing's off the table. Um, but yeah, so all that kind of stuff. Thank you, Covert. Spent a long time developing the camouflage patterns. About 3 years of, apart from being a kind of a camouflage nerd anyway, and a history nerd and everything, spent about 3 years doing environmental studies, and being a graphic designer and stuff, and having worked in like stagecraft and stuff in the past as well. Understanding color theory and like all that stuff. So it took a while for the design, and then picking the right colors and like all that stuff. But yeah, I really refined them down, and it's turned into a 10 patterns, a series of really effective, highly functioning patterns that I think perform a lot better than the other stuff that's out on the market. So just trying to get it to take off more. But I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Um, any plans of starting up nylon kit manufacturing in the future? So I'm not going to do any manufacturing myself. I'm just going to be doing all licensing, all licensing and branding and all that stuff. That's my end of it with the business. Um, the Rainier Fabrics, the one printer I have right now, they do direct retail. You can go order yardage, you can go order some pre-made products, and then companies, buy yardage, and then they make their products. I send them branding fabric tags and stuff. Um, Depending on the size of the company, then licensing partnerships and things like that. If it's consistent output and not like real small batch stuff, licensing with them as well and stuff. And that's kind of how that works with that business structure, just like Mossy Oak or Multicam or anyone. So same kind of structure in that regard. I don't have the logistics or facilities to be able to do any direct manufacturing and retail myself. That would be a lot more money than I have. Um, so I'm trying to work with what I got, but it's a kind of pre-existing formula and template of how to do things. So just working with as many American made businesses as I can, all made in America. That's the a core principle of my business. So there will be no foreign manufacturing. Um, it would be easy to do that, especially for uniforms, because that's one of the hardest things that I'm trying to find right now is a uniform manufacturer that's in the US. It would be easy to just acquiesce and go to a trans-Pacific Asian manufacturer. I'm not going to do that though. I have far too many concerns about IP theft, but also just it's just not what I want to do. George Washington Milliken was one of the companies. Forgot the others that send you a letter. Yeah, they're. I talked to Milliken actually. They only do rotary screen printing. They don't even do digital printing. They don't do sublimation or any of that. Damn. Yeah, leave them alone. You don't have to worry about them. Especially any textile printer, if all they're doing is rotary screen, I can't work with them just because my patterns are more advanced. It's not a linear super repetitive template. It's over a much larger section before it repeats. So it has to be done dye sublimation or one of the other forms of printing for textiles. A little more modern. Rotary screen's very old school, and unfortunately is limited. It's not cheap either. It's about $10,000 for a set of screens, at least $10,000 for a set of screens for printing. That ain't cheap. A digital printer is going to be more expensive at first, but it pays itself off in a very short period of time. Um, that's crazy though. Milliken, that's crazy. You'll buy the guppy, you'll buy the first pair of socks you make. Guppy close enough to skivvies are good with no thong. Don't want to wear a banana hammock there. This is almost the season for the next skin, long tops and bottoms. Yeah, Rainier Fabrics has Montana wool that they print on, which is a poly blend wool. It's a little bit better even than like Polar Fleece, which they have a version of that as well. So they have those options for like cold weather stuff. Um, so if you want to order some yardage and then link up with like a local seamster or seamstress to make you a one-off set, do it. You know, just get a couple of yards and they should be able to do it for you. It would not cost that much to have them make a one-off for you. Like the idea of wallpaper. Yeah, they offer it. Rainier Fabrics offers it. So I thought that was kind of funny. I was like, that would definitely be a man cave thing to do camouflage all over your walls. Whole upstairs of camo, that'd be wild. That'd be a lot of wallpaper. One round left. Bro, what is up? I've been catching your shorts whenever they come across my feed. You've been doing you've been having some fun, man. That's awesome. I love it. Long time for sure. 2 words, transferable Uzi. Yes, sir. I wish Leg or Lage, however you want to pronounce it, Leg Manufacturing. I wish they would do stuff with Uzis instead of to include alongside all the stuff they do with like Mac 10s and Mac 11s and stuff. Because Lord knows there's a market for it. That's awesome though, man. I have a local buddy that's a SOT, FFL SOT as well, and he's got a lot of cool stuff. And been able to play with some cool toys of his as well. He's got a Israeli 19th M1913 in a 762 by 51. We're gonna play with that sometime soon. He was working on it, and then he's got a yeah, it is awesome. It's awesome. And then he's got some auto lower packs for like your Setme's G3s and stuff, and some other stuff. I think his next project is a PPSH 41. So I'm trying to talk him into getting a Yugo PKM as well, but we'll see. There's still parts kits floating around for those, so we'll see if he goes for it. So I haven't touched a PKM in oh god, 10 years. I think it was about 10 years. Oh, a little less than that. Probably about 8 years. I think 8 years was the last time I touched a PKM. Yeah. Yeah, pretty sweet. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool having connections with those kind of people. You know. One that's like the one short of mine that really took off is that Molot Vepper in 762 by 54R. And that's his rifle and with the SLR handguard and everything. And he did a magwell conversion, so it takes Lati LS26 magazines because there was never 20 round mags made, or there was very, very few ever made 20 round mags for the Molot Vepper as it was. And nobody really makes aftermarkets for them. So he did a magwell conversion to take the Lati LS26 mags, which are 20 round mags. They're also like 110-year-old magazines, but they run. So you saw the video, they run. So he does all kinds of cool stuff like that and like crazy stuff like that. He's very, very eccentric with that kind of stuff. Very cool though. So very cool stuff. But yeah, it's always fun playing with those kinds of toys. So I hope you're doing well. One round left. I'm really glad you could jump in, brother. That's good stuff. I uh I appreciate you dropping in. Hope things are good. Y'all have had some great topics and discussion and stuff. Any other questions and topics of discussion? Fire away. Keep throwing them out. Keep them coming. Anything you got. Keep it coming. Be sure to hydrate. You have an off the wall question. Fire away, Guppy. Off the wall is always entertaining. There's a 10-second slow mode delay. It's all good. Oh, you don't have to call me sir. No, you're good, man. 10 I have a 10-second kind of slow-mo delay on with the chat. It helps me keep track of the chat, but it also keeps, bots from being able to spam the chat, so those dang old sex bots, as Doc Larson would say. Oh, yeah. Same goes for anyone else too while he's, typing typing his question. Any topics or questions you got, fire away. I got about slightly over 30 minutes left in the live stream here. Ooh, good question. Covert breakout. What was the hardest challenge I faced thus far with making this camo? So making it really wasn't hard for me again because I do so much like design work and things like that. The color choice took a little while because I was doing a lot of environmental and photo comparison to really get it to where I wanted it to. So that was a bit of a process. But that went a lot faster still even than just the environmental study as it was, and just kind of understanding camouflage, which I do have a video on my channel talking about the basics of camouflage or the fundamentals of camouflage. Um, that was probably the most arduous in the design process was making sure that the colors were just right, the way that I wanted them to be. Other than that would be after getting the business foundationally started, the brand foundationally started, after all the legal stuff, trademark and all that, um, was getting a textile printer. That was the hardest thing so far. It took 6 months to get a textile printer on board. Once the brand was active, the business was active. So that took a while because it was finding the right one based on how my entity is structured, and then what I was looking for in a printer and provider. Because a lot of printers out there, they want you to pay for X amount of rolls and stuff. And it's like, well, I don't have anywhere to store it, and that's a lot of money. I would rather do a two order kind of thing, um, with a company that can keep it consistent. So that was really hard, actually. The other hardest thing is finding a uniform manufacturer here domestically. That's continuing to be a challenge, and will be a challenge for a while. is that. Um, so those are definitely after getting everything established was getting a printer on board to get things off, you know, at a takeoff, which has been awesome to see. But now it's getting just more companies on board and finding a uniform manufacturer. Because I want my stuff in uniforms, you know, for people because that's one of the big reasons why the brand was started in the first place was people wanted more options and something different than FedCam, multicam, whatever, and a lot of the other general stuff that's accessible in the American market. That wasn't a hunting camo. Some of the Euro camos, like with Pencot, Con Camo, and Pencot, and all that, it's hard to get. It's really expensive, you know. And then just again, just alternatives to what nationalized military forces and all that were using. And I was like, I can do that, and it was something I was kind of interested in anyway already. I was like, I can do that, so I went through the process. Um, that was one of the big reasons I started the brand in the first place. So, um, so just got to keep it that struggle bus, you know, getting over one hill and then on up to the next one and start climbing that one to really get it to where I want it to be, and get the right access to what's what's uh on the consumer end of demand onto the market. So I'm the President Bastard. What's up, bro? Hope you're doing well. Nice to see you. Hope things are going good with you. Um, Guppy, Guppy Gilly Suit. Your Armalite loves American Eagle XM 139 or 193 556. Do they still make that? I haven't seen it in a while. Um, yeah, I believe they do. I don't see American Eagle a whole lot. I think they may have been bought by Winchester. Um, you would have to like Google it, like American Eagle ammunition and see what comes up, or and then ask Google, you know, who bought American Eagle ammunition because I think they were bought out. Um, in the stead of that, the PMC X-Tac or the PMC X-Tac stuff is good. Runs a little hot, but that's good ammo. I really like that ammo. I don't have any issues with Winchester White Box. Some people do. As long as you stay with like the because Winchester runs the factory, like the Lake City M855 and M193 and stuff. You should be fine. Yeah, I think that's what happened. I think American Eagle got bought by someone because yeah, you're right. I haven't seen a whole lot of them lately. I do see boxes around, but they must just be sitting for a while. Um, I think that's what happened. Winchester bought a couple of companies up, and then they got the contract, a big contract with the government to manage a couple of the government ammunition manufacturing facilities. Rock Island Arsenal. Well, it's AMG. I think it's AMG is the company that manages them, but it's owned by Winchester. And then Lake City and I think one or two others. I think Badger, and then so yeah, maybe two or three others. Yeah. Not entirely sure exactly how many, but it's a number of them that are managed by AMG. Guppy could be completely wrong. Isn't that a derivative of Lake City ammo? No, no. American Eagle used to be different. Um, I believe it was either a subsidiary of Remington or Winchester. Maybe I can't remember exactly. But I think it was a full buyout and they just folded it in. I think that's what happened. I'm not entirely sure. You could be right, Covert. I'm not all that familiar with American Eagle's background. I did used to shoot a lot of their ammo though, especially 40 cal for my handgun, and it loved it. Little dirty, little on the dirty side, very similar to Winchester, which is why I would assume that they were kind of affiliated with Winchester already. But that was good ammo. Yeah, they got bought out. PMC ammo is made in South Korea, which is fine. I mean, personally, I've had no issues with it. It runs fine. I've got a good deal of it. I've got a good deal of Lake City sitting around though too, so, um, it was at least Lake City brass, yeah. The PMC, especially the X-Tac, the brass is still great. No issues. No issues. That's been great. The brass has been just fine. So I don't know. As far as a quality controlled foreign production ammunition, PMC is one of the best out there. Um, I don't mind PPU for my 7.62 by 51, my M80 ball, like for my FAL and stuff. The PPU stuff, which is made in Europe, that stuff runs fine. Saltec, the Swiss made ammo, Saltec, that's really quality ammo, quality controlled. Um, I've not had issues with Norma. I know some people have had issues with Norma. That's Swedish made ammo. Perfectly fine, in my opinion. I know there was like a whole lot that was really hot that came out of Norma that had a recall on it, but that's the only one that I've heard of. Norma ammo otherwise has been fine for me. Um, so there's a number of them that are foreign made ammos that are perfectly fine and very high quality. The Saltec stuff is really high quality. That's some rainy day stuff. That's really nice. Really nice Swiss ammo. Um, but yeah. Yeah, you would have to Google and look into the American Eagle stuff and what was going on with that. I'm not entirely sure. Um, I'm pretty sure that they got bought and folded into someone else because now that you mention it, it's like, yeah, I don't really see a whole lot of it anymore. So, um, MagTech, the Brazilian ammo. I get the 7.62 by 51 M80 ball of that sometimes too. Runs fine in my FAL. I don't know about their 5.56 or any of their pistol ammo though. I've heard it's not as good. But the 7.62 by 51 ammo from MagTech is fine. No issues. I think I even have some. Yeah, I have some 80s production Austrian Hertenberger 7.62 by 51, just like a box or two of it that I got as a gift from a buddy. Sitting around as well. That stuff shoots really good too, even for being 40-year-old ammo. Shoots good. Um, yeah, that's some good stuff. Um, yeah, there's plenty of good XM 193 and MA 55 out there. So, yeah. Any other questions or topics? Fire away. Keep them coming. That's really good, and that makes the time fly by. So I appreciate it. Oh yeah. Keep firing away. Anything you got. So I've got to talk to the textile printer in the morning, and then I've got again a couple more gear manufacturers are slowly coming on board, picking up for XT stuff. Um, Hopefully, gonna get a couple more on board here soon. So I'm just really putting out feelers. Guppy, am I still involved with the military? No, I got out of the army in 2008. And then for up to this year, since then up to this year, I've worked in the private sector. Um, Doing security contracting of various kinds, working in executive protection, um, private military contracting, like all that kind of stuff. Um, I was doing the last couple of years when I left Triple Canopy in 2022, early 2022. I started doing like consulting and advising I'm also a published author with like security industry related books. There's a couple of them on Amazon that I've published, co-wrote and published. But I've been doing consulting and stuff, but this year's been really bad for it because of the economy. Um, Not nearly as many gigs as I would have hoped for with that because I subcontract to a couple of companies, and one of them didn't give me any gigs this year. The other one, the other one only had two for me. Um, and then the third one that I kind of work with a little bit, they didn't have all that much for me either. And then I also had a private investigator buddy I was kind of working for per diem too. Um, he closed his private investigation firm because the economy was so bad, sadly. So I lost like 75, 80% of all my work. Um, so I'm kind of slowly, I've been doing it for 17 years in the private sector and then 3.5 years, technically four, but 3.5 years in the army before that. So I've been in this industry a long time, and it's changing quite a bit. But the economy has really hurt everyone. So clients are much more apprehensive to spend money. They're spending a lot more money in the cyber divisions right now. I do physical security stuff. I do protective operations. I do all that. You know, they're not spending the money there right now, um, which is not good because they have vulnerabilities in their physical security elements, but also they're appropriating it to cyber because everything's all about the information age. You know, um, intelligence work. I do a little bit of that too, and like analysis and stuff and advisory work, but even that, not much as far as paid work because there's so many people in that pool right now. Um, so it's it's painful. It's painful right now for a lot of people in that part of the industry. Um, and then I started my camo brand at the beginning of this year. I got the website up at beginning of March, end of February, beginning of March. You know, so it's a brand new, really a brand new brand. Haven't even been at it a year as far as in operations with the partners and the licensing and everything. So it's still in a build process, getting more partners on board and finding another printer for more access, even more than there already is. And Rainier's doing a great job already. I'm very happy with them. They've been great as a partner. Um, and trying to find another textile printer, and then more of these things that I mentioned earlier, trying to get things figured out and just kind of get that all working, you know, because I would like to move fully into that, but I need to have some semblance of stability with it. Um, so alongside all of these much smaller gear maker companies who I love and I'm going to support with everything I've got, some little bit more substantial larger companies that have a regular output are going to be needed as much as getting more of the smaller guys on board as well to pick it up. You know, you see what kind of scope of reach multicam has and other brands and stuff, and that's where I need to end up at, you know, in order for it to be maintained successfully and to function, uh, continue to function well, you know. So um, and again, I offer design services as well. If somebody wants a custom camouflage pattern for them to start their own business with, I can do that development with them. That's not a cheap process, but I can do that. And I will make it work for them. I have every tool at my disposal apart from knowledge, you know, because I have that design background as well. So, and same with businesses in general. Someone needs a business logo done, someone needs branding done, somebody needs formal documents with their letterheads on them done, you know, whatever it is, I can do all that. You know, you want apparel designs done, I can do that, you know. So I do a lot of that too as well. As another segue of work that I do. Everything to supplement where there's deficit in the other main work stuff that's going on right now. Um Cover breakout. Would you recommend a FAL over AR-10 and why? Aside from the obvious cool factor. Um, I am privy to piston piston driven systems over gas. Uh, I don't like them for a number of reasons. Increased fouling and buildup and function issues back in the chamber. Um, you have the risk of blowing out your gas line, and you just get a lot more gas in your face. That's why I don't like direct impingement systems. Um, they overall get a lot hotter throughout the entire gun. With piston systems, uh, the front gas block gets hotter, but the rest of the weapon stays cooler. Far less fouling and obstruction and issues that can happen back in the chamber area as well. They're more reliable in austere conditions too, from my experience. Whether it's AKs or my primary AR is a piston short stroke piston AR that I run personally. I have an AK. I love that too. I have an FAL. I run piston guns. That's my preference. FAL is awesome. Biggest logistical issues. There's not a whole lot of back end support and aftermarket support for FALs. There's a couple of companies, obviously DSA, Voltor offers some stuff. You've got Arizona Response Systems, Frontier Armory, and like one or two others, but there's really not a whole lot. And nobody's making, besides DS Arms and then Defense, United Defense, which is a joint Filipino-American company. They're the only two companies making new production metal FAL magazines. So very limited on what you have access to. So a lot of it's surplus market, which they're extremely expensive compared to like G3 mags. G3 mags are like $5 to $10 a pop. An FAL mag can run you anywhere between $50 and $200 on the surplus market for surplus mags because they don't make them anymore. They made a lot of G3 mags and PTR mags and stuff. So they're dirt cheap. FAL mag market dried up pretty hard. And they're very expensive. Luckily, again, DS Arms and United Defense LLC are the two companies that make new production metal magazines for the US market. DS Arms only does them in like batch runs. It's not consistent production. United Defense ones, which I have a couple of, are actually okay. You can get those through the Keep Shooting website, keepshooting.com. Those mags are okay. The finish isn't as good on them, but it is a consistent new production magazine. So some of those logistics are kind of a pain. So you don't have a lot of aftermarket modification options and the magazine issue. Otherwise, FAL is a fantastic rifle, no issues. You'd probably be better off with like a G3 platform for cost. It doesn't have a whole lot of aftermarket support as well, besides like PTR. And like maybe one or two other companies. So you're kind of with the battle rifles in general, you're kind of limited. But I would still prefer one of those two over an AR-10. Now if I could get a short stroke piston SR or if I could get a short stroke piston M110 SAS, like the first SR25, I would be all over it. You know, I love the SAS. Fantastic rifle. They are accurate. Nothing against AR-10s for their accuracy, or SR-25s for their accuracy. They're very accurate rifles. I just don't like direct impingement systems. So, I think hopefully that answers your questions and my mindset about it. Am I going to say get an FAL? Yeah. Are you going to have some other baggage that comes along with it? Yeah. Not function wise, but the other things I mentioned. Guppy Gilly, it's about time your son did as well. Wanted him to go with GSP, but you decided to go local municipal and still a K9 officer. Hey, that's cool though. You have job stability there as a police officer. K9s are cool, man. I love K9 handlers, man. Even on the private sector side, our K9 handlers are awesome. They're awesome people, and the dogs are wonderful. Guppy Sue, Realtree. Once you get copyright infringement on your live, so I misspelled it. No, it's fine. Realtree. They don't have nothing for your patterns. Well, they're hunting camouflage patterns, and their designs are on what's called mimicry, because there's a couple of different types of camouflaging, right? Again, I have a video on the fundamentals of camouflage on my channel, but one of them is there's disguise and there's mimicry. Disguise would be like a spy, like a disguise, but also disguising in the sense of a ghillie suit, which is also mimicry. And in real tree, like patterns like those natural like leaves and grass and stuff as the pattern, that's mimicry. It's meant to mimic the natural elements. There's advantages and disadvantages to it, obviously. Normally with hunting patterns like that, you're not running around, you know. You're static most a lot of the time, unless you're doing a backcountry hiking and hunting stuff. Even for that, I actually the camouflage I use for that is First Light Fusion, which is a great hunting camo brand. Um and that's more that style, like with First Lights and stuff, or Veil camo. Their camouflage patterns are more in line with like kind of my style, where mine has that hunting camouflage applicability. The rest of the time, mine's oriented for the military, tactical, prepared citizen space, law enforcement and all that, it's meant to have tactical application as much as a hunting application. Um, Whereas patterns like the one, brands and patterns like the one you mentioned, they're meant really solely for hunting. Now they can be used for other things, but um, they don't work. They don't work when you're moving more, and they have a number of different patterns, again, for regional application, which I can respect because that's how I do mine too. Um, so what may work in one area with a pattern, especially with how specialized theirs are to that natural flora and things like that, is not going to work in another place. In contrast, patterns like mine do have crossover. While they're meant for primarily meant for certain regions, they have cross applicability. Like SW, Swamp and Cypress, but you can absolutely use that pattern in the dense woodlands of Texas, the Carolinas, and things like that. It has that cross applicability because of the color choices and how it blends. It's the design aesthetics, you know. So it's like things like that, Guppy, you have an AK and SKS. Hell yeah, dude. Nothing wrong with the con block weapons. I have a Yugo, I have a Zastava M70, so it's Serb AK. It's a great rifle. Great rifle. And I appreciate you like my camo line so much, man. I appreciate it. Mm. So if you know any gear companies and stuff you want to see pick it up and all that, just tell them that check me out. Um, Dragonov would be cool. Good luck getting a parts kit for it. You can get the Serbian equivalent through Zastava or Zastava, however you want to pronounce it. You might be able to find a Tobruk one, but that's 762 by 39. Um, Dragonovs are cool. You might be able to find a Norinco one, the Chinese made one, but um, yeah, it's buried somewhere. I have almost 500 almost I have like 480 something videos on my channel. So it's a little back ways in the videos, but it's in there. I also have various playlists. I have a logistics playlist with various videos, both mine and other people's that I've added to it. I have a playlist just about like DIY and my camouflage stuff. I think that that video may be in there. I can't remember, but so I've got all that too. Static, absolutely. When there's nothing else in the world to do, when you can move and blend in the next encounter. Exactly. Yeah, appreciate it. That goes for everyone. Anyone else who's lurking in here and otherwise too. Like if you know of either a local gear company or a gear company or a uniform company you want to see pick up the patterns, don't harass them, but just be like, hey, you should go check these out, or tag me in one of their Instagram posts or something, like, Frac T Camo, on Instagram, just Frac T Camo. Um, just let them know, I'm trying to spread the word as much as I can. I'm trying to link and network and communicate and reach out with as many as I can, but it's a process, but, you know, Some of the bigger companies, they want more incentive, you know, um, not just access to textiles, but also just in general, to show that there's a demand. Again, don't do it to a point where it's harassment or anything, don't do that. But, you know, um, and again, George Washington, I appreciate your diligence and dedication reaching out to people. Um, just don't go crazy with it, but if you know a gear maker or whatever, or somebody that's starting a business like that or whatever, happy to talk to them. I want to work with as many all totally end to end made in the USA businesses, small and substant and large that I can. Um, more than willing, So, so more business that could be driven is means that the patterns can get out there more, but that means more business to the companies and the makers that are offering products in those patterns. So it's a cycle of benefit to everyone. So it's just expanding that cycle and just keeping the tempo up on that cycle. Well, I hope you get to be feeling better, Guppy. And no, it's fine. And like I say in a lot of my videos with everyone, there's a lot of context in the videos. Context is important, you know, because a lot of people will try. I see it on other people's videos all the time. They'll try and make a comment, and I know they made the comment before it got to a certain point in the video where the context was brought up or whatever it is. I know you know how to pay attention, so. But I hope you get to feeling better. I know you said you're in a lot of pain, so I hope you feel better soon, man. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Cover breakout, solid DJ. Love what you're doing. Hey, appreciate it, covert. Cover breakout, appreciate it, man. Message you on the side with some ideas. Hell yeah, absolutely, yeah. Contact form on the Fracti website or on Instagram, man. Hit me up. Happy to talk. But yeah, you take it easy, man. I'll catch you later as well. Yeah, I've only got about 3.5 minutes left in my live stream here anyway, so we're rounding it out here. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for coming in. Um, and I guess for anyone else that's still in here, any questions, topics of discussion that I can rapid fire in the next like 3-4 minutes, lay it out there quick, and I can talk about it real quick before I bounce out here and go make dinner myself. Rounding it off for the monthly Q&A. So anything you got, fire away. Any last bits you got, keep it coming. Smoke them if you got them. Had to go eat. Oh, that's okay, man. I will be going to eat here myself in just a couple of minutes. I don't know yet, to engage. I gotta go figure that out. I do have some ground beef thawed out, so I'll probably do something with that. Not sure what. Maybe like chili mac or something. I don't know. Yep, go take your meds and feel better, Guppy. Go get some rest, man. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you. To gauge, you had chicken and taters. Nice. It's always a good combo. Did you ever try to make my chipotle chicken stew recipe that I it's in my on my YouTube channel in the community section with all the posts. There's a community post in there. I put a couple of recipes out there, but one of them is a chipotle chicken stew. Pretty easy to make. So go check that out. Everyone in here, go check that recipe out. It's down in the post a little bit, but go check it out and make it. It's that time of the year for it. It's warming, it's hearty, really good chipotle chicken stew recipe I have on there. So go check that out. But again, any other topics or questions? Literally have like 2 to 3 minutes left in my live stream here, and I got to call it because I got to go eat too. If anyone's got anything I can rapid fire on, lay it out right now. Otherwise, I am going to call it. Bueller. 10 gauge, I mean, they're gonna continue until something really bad escalation-wise happens and it gets ramped up, otherwise it's just gonna be a continuation of that. It'll die down a little bit in certain regions, like Chicago, once winter hits, um, because they don't, opposing forces do not wanna be out in that. So, especially with how cold it gets and how much snow falls and everything. So, um, it's just gonna be a continuation of what we're seeing until everything is finished or something worse happens and everything gets worse. That's really what it comes down to. So, could it get worse before it gets worse? It could. Will it? Yet to be seen. Other than that, status quo. The economy sucks right now. Everyone's feeling the pain to their very core. Economy really needs to get fixed. Prices need to go down on everything. Need to go back down to normal and reasonable. I want to see 1997 prices on everything again. Hell, even early 2000s prices before the market crash would be nice. Uh, with that being said, not to end on a sour note, but yeah, it's gonna get cold here tonight too. It was 33 when I woke up this morning, 10 gauge. Yep, it's coming. Autumn is here, baby. Not to end on a sour note, but that's the state of things, and we just gotta persevere, you know? Just gotta keep grinding. Just gotta adapt and try and overcome. And with that, I hope everyone is doing okay on the struggle bus of life right now. I hope everyone's doing okay. I'm wishing everyone the best. And anyone that is hurting right now, I wish you good healing and to get well soon. Wish everyone else just have a great, safe weekend. And huge, huge thanks and appreciation for all the support with Fractal Spectral Camouflage Systems, my new brand that just started this year. You can get fabric at Rainier Fabrics. Any businesses making retail products, get in contact with me for branding fabric tags. Spread the word about Frac T. Music releases coming out soon. I will make announcements on those as well as they come along. Anybody wanting any graphic design commission work done, contact me through the Frac T website's contact form or on Instagram at Frac T Camo on the business page. With that, I appreciate everyone that came through. I appreciate everyone for hanging around, having great topics of discussion, great chat, great questions. Just a great group of people all around. I appreciate everyone. And with that, metal up. Out.